Hey everybody, Jason Burmis here. And it is so upsetting, so disheartening, so frustrating to continue to report to you that the man behind me, Andrew Cuomo, has no interest whatsoever in ever allowing New York to go back to the way it was pre-COVID-19 84. Period. And that's why we're going to talk about this phase 4 as finally more and more upstate New York is getting ready to go into phase 4, how there is no phase 5, and how phase 4 is essentially a scam to put you in a mindset of a new normal that is not only hurting so many people financially that have worked hard for their money, not so much people right now that are still receiving that unemployment that includes an extra $600, that many of them were hard workers, don't get me wrong, but now they're making more money not to work. I'm talking about the middle class, the people that have kiosks in malls that are supposedly never going to open again if we allow the tyrant behind us to get his way. Because phase 4 is the last phase, and it's far from normal. And by the way, phase 4 is going to be cutting out huge swaths of the economy, preparing you for the massive cuts in New York, a state of 19 million people, in what? Education, healthcare, and what do you think defund the police is really about? Selective defunding of certain police departments and certain local government establishments that don't go along with what Cuomo wants. That's the reality. We're going to hit that up in a moment. I want to remind people, we are fully demonetized on the YouTube platform. This is how we do it. We're towards the end of the month. I'm hoping we can really boost this up. $5, $10, $15 means the world to me. This is how I'm able to bring you the content I do. And I want to say that yesterday, guys, I did 3 really important videos that have somewhat low numbers, especially the last one. And I just want to recap really quickly why they're so important. Number 1, the GMO mosquitoes and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation that funded them, that are about to be released in Florida, that is directly going to integrate into this video. 100%. Why? Because the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation are part of that unelected billionaire class that are supposedly going to be reimagining New York State. I didn't elect Bill Gates, and they're going to reimagine education. If you watch that video, not only do we talk about Bill Gates and his work with genetically modified organisms, aka these mosquitoes, malaria, now Zika. You've got to see it to believe it. But we show you a clip of him almost a decade ago saying we still have a lot to do to revolutionize not only health but education. And now he's getting that opportunity here. The other video that has less than 2,000 views, which is also important, is the UFC veteran video. Has nothing to do with the UFC. Has to do with a man telling a tale of love and racial harmony, okay? And how Twitter deemed a 40-second clip where a man talks about the love for his father and togetherness of white and black, and not the color of people's skins, or to be judged on that, but the content of their character. That's what's deemed sensitive content by the big tech companies, by the billionaire class. And then, of course, we have yet another alleged Hollywood pedophile being outed. Those are 3 really important videos. They're all here free. Check them out after this one. And remember, all my documentary films also free in the playlist section. So let's get to it. Report, gyms, shopping malls, movie theaters will not reopen in phase 4. Well, let me explain something to you. Even the businesses that are open in phase 3, they will still not be able to be at full capacity in phase 4. There is no phase 5. So what are we really talking about here? We are talking about massive restrictions based on a virus that has all the hallmarks of being engineered in a lab and thrown upon the global populace, right? That, if treated correctly, is usually no more lethal and perhaps less lethal than the flu at this point, okay? We've yet to see any proof of asymptomatic spread, okay? But that doesn't matter. Most people go into the gym, by the way, they don't have a fever. They're not sick. And yet gyms won't be able to open. That's a large, large, large swath of the middle class. All right? Even the ones that have a CrossFit gym or a Planet Fitness, what? Those are usually franchised out. All right? What about jiu-jitsu gyms? What about MMA gyms? They just have no end in sight to this. So now let's get to shopping malls. So literally before this video, I'm out doing my daily socializing, still in the bizarro world where people are worried about standing 6 feet apart. There's some people in gloves. Some people are masking up no matter where they are. Other people are just sick of it. And in comes somebody I've known, man, maybe closer to 20 years than 10. Let's just say that, okay? And he's a business guy. He owns businesses here in upstate New York, down in Florida, travels. One of his businesses is a kiosk in the mall. He sells the sunglasses, the hats. He's that guy. Phone cases, right? He's got the market there. It's already dying in the mall, pre-COVID 1984, okay? JCPenney is one of the main, things in there, and that's going out of business. The only thing that's really keeping that plaza alive is a TJ Maxx that now people have to wait in a line 6 feet apart to enter. And the only reason they're allowed to enter that TJ Maxx is because it has a separate door outside of the mall. That's the only reason. His business there looks done. Looks done. They're saying September maybe. And remember, what's the big news? Oh, there's a second wave. There's a huge spike. There could be another lockdown. What? Movie theaters. Movie theaters are a part of the mall. No, they rather you go to just drive-ins or rent the movie for $20 in this state. 19 million people. 19 million people. And now we're going to get to the huge elephant in the room. Colleges. We've already had a ton of narcs out there on any type of a bar restaurant that isn't following the rules. First day, 25,000 plus narc complaints in 16,000 plus establishments. Again, let's selectively enforce everything. Okay? And they have started shutting down businesses. Again, it's a selective enforcement. And remember, we did the video where Cuomo, let's scroll down here. There he is right here. I will shut you down. Threatens local law enforcement if they're not walking around wearing a mask, that he's going to take care of them. He'll just defund their department, right? All of a sudden, my chief of police, who's never worn a mask once, I'm seeing wear a mask now. It's very upsetting. He says he'll defund local governments. And then he flashed on the screen this. Hard to read, I know. So before this, all you really had was the website. This is from the 20th of May, so over a month old, how they were thinking about integrating universities. In other words, reimagining education on behalf of Bill and Melinda Gates. Just like they're reimagining the city and possibly smart cities within the city via Eric Schmidt. And let's not leave out Bloomberg and his contact tracing force that will be integral if they allow colleges to come back in a limited capacity. All right? So let's just read what we have here, because I watched a video yesterday of the woman who is the president of Hartwick College, the smaller private university, saying they're gearing up to come back, but they haven't even proposed anything yet. And the proposals are ludicrous from what I'm hearing. All right, so let's just read what the bullet points were that he flashed up several days ago that you really can barely even find an article on. Capacity to maintain social distancing. That means no lecture halls. Lecture hall classes are over. All right? PPE supply. So if they don't have a mask, you got to give them one at the door. Face shields, etc. Screening of arriving students and staff. Now, whether that's on a daily basis, a weekly basis, a class basis, they don't really make that clear. But since I know that the SUNY University, a part of their proposal, which they still have not made public, okay? They actually submitted their proposal over a week ago. They're proposing straight shot through the baby maker. I think it's a mid-August all the way through November, no breaks. No breaks. All right? So that way they'd only have to screen them a few times. So they're not allowed to go home. Protecting the vulnerable populations. Completely broad. No real meaning there. Okay? Gearing you up to understand if they allow anybody to come back, you will be lucky. It's called incrementalism. Hygiene, cleaning, and disinfecting. So let's talk about that right there. A lot of people have said that only certain students in a limited capacity would be coming back and the dorms would no longer allow you to have roommates. What? What? And remember, this is all going to be decided by Cuomo and his crew. This is not going to be voted on by a school board, by the counties, by the students themselves that go there. None of that. Lord Cuomo will decide. Containment plans. Identify how to isolate positive cases and quarantine contacts. There's your contact tracing. There's your Bloomberg Stasi force for impressionable 18 to 20-something-year-olds. Determine a plan to disinfect exposed areas. And they also are going to have quarantine areas on campus, apparently. That's part of the thing. Certain dorms will just be for those that need to be quarantined. Develop a plan to communicate protocols. Monitoring plans. Determine testing frequency. So again, how often are they going to make you take a test? Define early warning metrics. Work with the state and local health departments on contact tracing. There's that lovely word, contact tracing. Snitch force. Snitch force. And then, of course, the shutdown plans. Because remember, lockdown 2 is just around the corner. There is no phase 5. There is no normal, just the new normal that we allow you to have in this state. And guys, you know, before I finish it up again, I'm trying to leave the state. Need your support more than ever. GoFundMe is in the link. Begging you. Thank you. All right? Let's get back to it. Let's get back to the end of the lunacy. Okay? So, identify operations that will be reduced or shut down in case of a significant outbreak. Determine a plan for students to safely depart campus. What? Safely depart campus? Wait, what are you talking about? Are you going to try to restrict the movements of kids only if, like, I mean, it's nuts. Develop a plan to communicate shutdown processes. And remember, everybody who thinks they're just going to defy the rules and the contact tracing can't get them, you have a GPS spy device that has software on it now specifically to track you. And that's not a conspiracy theory. That's something they've encouraged you to do. My goodness. All right? So, you know, they've released these guidelines now. Now, that's the big news. I've said it all. If these kids don't come back in full capacity, if New York State is real about what they want to do to these small businesses, all the printed money in the world just is not going to do it. And right now there are petitions for that extra $600 to go all the way through December. We haven't hit the hyperinflation yet, which we should have hit even before this, let's be honest. But now I'll be amazed. I'll be amazed if there is not some sort of correction in that manner, or you just don't see goods skyrocketing, right? We haven't seen the mass layoffs yet, all right? We haven't seen the bankruptcies, and we haven't seen the foreclosures. And I couldn't agree more with Dana White that the worst is yet to come, and people do not realize it because they have been lulled into a sense of security when now, once again, the CNNs, the MSNBCs of the world, they're beating their chests and telling you, oh, there's a spike and we need another lockdown. Okay, but it doesn't matter whether we have another lockdown or not. In this state, they're openly telling you no gyms, no malls, no movie theaters, no questions asked, and maybe no more normal college. We'll let Bill and Melinda Gates reimagine and revolutionize the education system. We haven't even talked about the poor kids that may not be able to go to school. We haven't even talked about sports programs. We haven't even talked about the mental effects of all this on everybody in this state, which is huge. We'll save that for another video. Thumbs this video up, subscribe, and share. Join the Burmis Brigade. Let's get to 55K subscribers. We're actually doing really well after the videos yesterday. Again, all three of those videos yesterday, really important. 5, 10, 15 bucks. It means the world to me. Leave a question or a comment when we do the Ask Me Anything. So we go over here. We use this as a super chat mechanism. So we will address those comments and questions at some point. Again, if you don't believe me about Cuomo and his authoritarianism, go watch I Will Shut You Down, Cuomo warns. I've got plenty of excerpts from his press conference where he says just that. And again, I couldn't recommend the last 3 videos more. My documentary films, especially Invisible Empire, A New World Order Defined, and Shade the Motion Picture, are now more important than ever. Please check them out for free in the playlist section. Remember, you can also support me over on Rockfin. Oh, you get to see the back end here, where there are other great creators. If you decide to go premium and not just follow me for the weekly free Tuesday video, you get access to Ben Askren, Jimmy Dore, Kim Iverson, Nico House, The Convo, Couch Graham Elwood, John Fitch, and many other creators. We're trying to bring Luke Radowski and We Are Change on there too. We're going to get that moving. And I am also on Minds. I love you guys, and I will see you all on the flip side.